You want us to start? Do you want us to start now, Harsha?
Yes, ma'am. We can start.
Okay. Okay, good evening and welcome everybody to this wonderful forum, Soil, Pgpm. So we are very happy to meet you. I am Dr. Neetika Bhatta. I'm the Dean and Professor of Finance at the one-year program. And I have my colleague, Mr. Gurveer Jaswal with us. He's the Associate Dean and the Director for Strategic Initiatives. So Gurveer, you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Nitika. So my name is Gurveer. I the Associate Dean, and besides that, I teach strategy. That's one of my area of interest. And I also am a finance faculty where I teach on banking. We do introduction to fintech and finance. So these are some of the areas that I am, associated with. Yeah. Thank you.
And as I said, I work here as a dean. I've been associated with Soil for over 10 years now. I have an experience of almost more than 30 years, almost equally divided between industry and academics. So started with investment banking and then shifted to academics about 15 years back. And I'm also professor of finance. My area of work is in the banking sector, and lately it is more around public policy and the issues that I see around in the economy. So that interests me. And of course, mutual learning with students is exciting in the classes where we, teach each other. So that's the passion which goes on. And today we are here to kind of talk a little bit about the one-year program and our admission process, our philosophy, and what we're looking for in our candidates. So as many of you would know that we started about 14, 15 years back, where, with a dream that we wanted to transform the education sector in the country. So we felt, the founders and the board, they all felt that the country needed a very, very robust and a forward-looking education system, which was not based purely on IQ levels, but also helped the students to transform themselves in a holistic manner. So we talked to the industry, and there were many well-reputed companies who partnered with us, who agreed that MBA education and higher education needs to be much more than teaching pure technical subjects. It is more about leadership. It is more about taking charge, ownership for all the issues that happen around us, and having some whole systems thinking rather than very siloed thinking on solving these issues. And so we also talked to many of our global partners, these schools across the world, and we realized that the world was much ahead of us in this sense, and they were talking about many other contemporary subjects and trends which were to be incorporated in the curriculum, and therefore the whole curriculum of Soil was born that way. And we are very blessed to have that partnership still going very strong. In fact, it has strengthened over the years. It has been the guiding force year after year for us to update our curriculum. So while we started with marketing, finance, HR, and we have now gone on to analytics, digital, which are the real need of the hour, and skill sets which are required by the industry. So that is a whole philosophy of Soil, where we talk about not just how people think, but also how they lead themselves and work towards a very, very satisfying and a fulfilling life, which is made of financial success as well as your personal success and your social success. And because the philosophy is based on your all-round development, the admission process also is unique, is different. It is very, very different from how other B schools look at candidates. We look at people who have this ability to learn and the drive to make a difference. So we believe that everybody is special. Intelligence can come in different forms. It's not just about your brain, or the left brain. It is also about your right brain. It is also about your heart and your soul consciousness, which makes up an entire human being. And therefore, intelligence can manifest itself in different manners. So some people are good maybe in thinking and scoring well in your technical subjects. Some others may be good in creativity. Some others may have other multiple forms of intelligence. And therefore, you can leverage your strengths and make yourselves successful. So the soil admission process is also based on that philosophy. And therefore, it is also called soil talent appreciation process. It is not called an exam, or it is not, assessment, but it is basically trying to understand the personality of the student and see whether it is a good fit for management education. And there, of course, it's a combination of your IQ and your, EQ both. So we look at your past backgrounds, what kind of education background you're coming from, your professional work that you've been doing, and how well equipped you are in that. And then along with that, we will also look at your ability to work hard, ability to put in efforts, and your attitude. Whether you have a positive attitude and you really want to, make a difference and transform yourselves. So all those things are looked at. We have a psychometric analysis tool, which students go through, which assesses the different dimensions of your personality, be it leadership, relationship, orientation, personal organization. So all those things are assessed there, which is more like a developmental tool, and we use the report from there for mentoring later on during the year. And then, of course, there's a personal interview with a panel, which is made of a senior faculty or a staff member, plus an industry member, a consortium member. And we then spend time with the candidate to understand whether the compatibility is mutual or not, and whether, it's also more like career counseling and his life counseling to understand whether he's going on the right track and what value addition can soil bring for the candidate. So that is in sum what we do here in soil as regards our curriculum, as regards our admission process. We've been very fortunate that all this has led to beautiful transformation stories from students year after year, is what we see and hear. And also it culminates into a great placement outcome. So we are very happy that every year we are able to place almost 100% of the students at almost 2 to 3 times of the previous drawn CTC. So we are able to make that value addition, and that translates into a great return, for a financial return also for the students. So even though we believe that it is the intangibles, which are more important and which will drive the tangible results, but of course we need to create a balance between the two, and that is what we aim for, and that is what we feel humbled that we have managed to achieve, and year after year. So that's from my side. We will also answer questions from your this thing. We would rather make it interactive. After Gurveer has shared his thoughts, then we will open the forum for question answers. Gurveer, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Nitika. So we, as you know, we've got 2 campuses, one in Manesar and one in Gurgaon. In Gurgaon, we have the 1-year program, which is for people with experience, the executive MBA, which is the Pgpm business leadership with specializations in marketing, analytics, finance. And we have another program called the Pgpm HR, which is the HR specialized HR program. And the second campus we have in Manesar, which is where we have the 2-year Pgdm program. Now I'll talk of the Gurgaon campus. Now, for the Pgpm business leadership program, we need a minimum 2 years experience. So the day you're joining, you need to have minimum 2 years experience. That's full-time experience. It should not be part-time work ex or anything. Secondly, we accept all scores. Generally, your CAT, GMAT, GRE, we accept scores. And we also have our in-house stat exam for students who've not, given any of the standard tests that we have in this country. They can give the stat exam. And post the stat exam that we have a simulation which is conducted. Now, the simulation is a business case study or a business situation because you're not able to hear me. I think that is okay. Can you hear me now? Is it better? Okay. So I'll okay. So what do we do in the 1 year program? We first, like I said, we accept all mandatory test scores. These tests could be your GMAT, GRE, or it could be a CAT exam score or a MAT score. Now, in case you've not given these exams, we also accept or we have a STAT exam. That's our internal soil exam that we accept. Once you've done that, then you have a simulation round. That simulation round is where we give you a business case study or a business situation to discuss and to express your views on. And then you have the personal interview. So that is what generally is our admission process for the 1 year program in a nutshell. What exactly are we looking at? I'll be very brief. We are just looking for 5 C's. We're looking at people who are confident. We're looking at people who have clarity of thought. We're looking at people who have good communication, people with competence, and obviously people who are committed towards their goal in life. Please remember, this is your goal in life. The commitment needs to be towards your goal in life. We are just facilitators here. So that is what we are looking at. When you are here at SOIL, there are basically 4 aspects that we look at. One obviously is your academics, because we are a learning institute. You are here for an MBA or a Pgpm program, so the learning needs to take center stage. The second is your personality, because as you move into an MBA to a corporate world, your personality needs to change with the way you are. So you need to uplift and build your personality. So we work on your personality to mentorships. The third, we have a very unique curriculum on social innovation. We have a lot of social innovation projects. So it's not just about business. It's more than business. It's about social innovation. We have an SIP program where you work with NGOs. We have other social subjects that you deal with. And the last, but not the most, is your placement preparation. That's what Dr. Nitika touched, that generally the salaries that you get are 200, 300% of your previous salary. You need to work towards it, and we work in conjunction with you to help develop you for that. So when a company is coming here and is going to give you a 200, 300% salary hike after a SOIL MBA, you have to be ready for that also. You need to raise the bar, raise your personality, and all of the other things like academics and personality are done towards this to help you be ready for placements. That's the most important thing. As we said, these tangible goals are most important. So that's what we do in a nutshell. We prefer for the Pgpm business leadership program, minimum 2 years work ex is what we want. For the HR, we prefer work ex of 2 years, but with an exceptional academic background. For the HR course, the Pgpm HR course, we have selected students with good academic and a good non-academic background with less than 2 years experience also, but that's only for the Pgpm HR course. Yeah. So that's the general nutshell of what we do. I think we're getting a lot of questions. So why don't we just start with the questions and just, make it more interactive,
Yes, I think there are some very interesting questions here in the chat box. I can see that, one is, of course, which exam do you take the score on, which is accepted? What do you take? Profile-based admission? And so these are related questions. So I'm taking them
So exam,
together.
I think I've already answered that we accept all exams, the GRE, GMAT, CAT, MAT, all exams. In case you've not given exam for the 1 year program, you could give the STAT exam, which is our in-house exam, in case. But as far as the 1 year program is concerned, we accept all other standard exams in the country, whether it's MAT, SNAP, whatever.
Yes, we do accept, and then it is not a requirement also in the 1 year program, because we are not AICT approved, and that's the benefit that we have, that we are not tied down by any requirement of an entrance exam, be it CAT, MAT, BMAT, whatever, because we realize that people with work experience sometimes do not have the time to plan so much ahead. For example, working around the cycle, say around November, December, you realize that you're feeling very stagnated in your career. Grow further to a management level, you need an MBA degree, but the time has passed for all kind of entrance exams. You hadn't planned for it, or you didn't have the time to invest and take the exam, and therefore 1 year MBA, of course, makes sense. And within that, soil is probably the only school which allows you to take admission even without any entrance exam participation or score. So I think that is where we come in, because we want to give that flexibility to our students. And also because our philosophy, like I said initially, is based not on your scores in a particular entrance exam, but we want to see how you are as a whole person. And therefore our in-house stat, that we call it, in-house assessment tool, is equipped to do that much better, which speaks to our philosophy. In fact, a related question is what to do after a horrible CAT. Like I said, it's no indication of your potential, Vishwa Pratap. And I think Vishwa Pratap Jha has asked that question. And like I told you, Soil truly believes that it is not your performance in an entrance exam which can define your career, or which can speak to anybody about your potential. Your potential is much beyond that score. So this doesn't really mean anything. We have had a lot of students who have not had great scores, but have performed wonderfully well during the program, have gone out with great placements also in different roles in different companies. So that's not really important. What is important is we want to know you as a person, whether you have the capacity to learn, whether you have the drive, whether you're willing to put in the efforts, work with us, and transform yourselves by the end of the program. So that is what matters truly.
I think Aditya Sagar has said that I've received a mail shortlist for PGP program. I wanted to make sure if I've received from Soil. So Aditya, we've already had one round of admissions. We have a cyclic process for the 1-year program. Now, a second round cycle is on January 22nd, which is when the second round of admissions will have gone. So if you have received a mail, it would be for the second round of admissions, where on certain NMAT scores, we do send out an invitation to people to apply. So that is where you would have received that.
Right. Yeah, so I think a couple of other questions which are related on this, I think we have answered it. When Yash says, hello, ma'am, what all scores you accept for 1-year Pgpm and how much experience needed? Experience is minimum 2 years, like Gurveer has just explained. For the business leadership program, for the HR leadership program, 2 years minimum is desirable. But sometimes if the candidate is outstanding, we can accept lesser experience there. But that is only for the HR program. For the business leadership, a minimum of 2 years is required. And somebody is saying in CMAT exam delay for COVID situation, so Soil CLG after CMAT exam except the percentile. If I understand this question correctly, it is a bit incoherent. If you can explain it a little bit better, Akash. But yeah, go ahead, Gurveer.
No, I'm not sure whether it's MAT or NMAT that we're talking about here, It's a little... So there's another question: with technology disruption, skills are more demanded than standard linear. In this era, how is an MBA relevant? You see, technology is an enabler, Technology is an enabler. So technology will not mean that those basic skills in companies will not be needed, The nature of those skills will change, what they were pre-COVID and post-COVID. And that is where, as an MBA institute, you need to keep pace with the times. That's what we are doing. So these courses like fintech, we have HR analytics, we have courses on, digital marketing. So what we are doing is we are keeping pace with the new age skills. So the skills will always be in demand. So the nature of an MBA will shift, and will change. And that is what you need to keep pace with. And we as an institute need to keep pace with, with demands of what the industry wants.
I think that's a very interesting point you've raised. It's JJ somebody, I think, who's written this question. You're saying that in this era, how is still an MBA relevant? What we are trying to say is that education is different from skills.
Yes.
The skills are important for livelihood, if I may say, or for making a career. But what is education? Education is not just about a career or making some money and just about a post or a designation. Education is about developing your mind, developing your entire personality, so that you are equipped to deal with life, not in just one sense of making money, but also in other areas where you can make good decisions in life, where you can make good choices in life and upgrade the quality of your life. So the quality of life is not made only of money. That is one part of it, yes, an important part. But then there are other facets which define your quality, and education is meant to do that. And that is where higher education and therefore MBA comes in. That you are taught about different uh, areas of marketing, finance, HR, analytics, etc. But also you talked about how business situations, business problems can be solved. A skill set may not give you uh, that kind of caliber to deal with situations and to address them, and therefore go on to a higher management role and be able to run a company or run a venture uh, without knowing the whole science and the art of management. That is where an MBA comes in. So you do need that foundation strong. Uh, if you are planning to make any kind of a career, either in industry or in any kind of a management situation, in public policy, government, social, wherever you want to. But you should understand the whole science of management first. And then, yes, you can embellish it with more skills, And like Gurvi said, skills keep changing. So if yesterday, let's say project management was a skill, or a business analyst was a skill, today digital marketing is a skill, or a digital analytics is a skill, or a Python is a skill, you know. So that will keep changing, and that of course we keep putting into our curriculum also. In fact, you will notice that our curriculum has three parts. One is knowing, second is doing, third is being. Knowing is all about your courses. First, you should understand the whole science and art of management. Like I said, that's knowing. Doing, which is about your skill set. So how do you know Excel? Do you know Python? Do you know, the entire skill sets that you're talking about, along with certifications of project management, BA, or any other role that you want to adopt. And third part, the being part, which is about your personality development, your leadership development, how you think, how you behave, how you carry yourselves, what is your attitude, which is what is going to define ultimately your success, in your role. So we look at all the three areas in our MBA curriculum, and yes, skills are very important, and which you should be also encourage our students to constantly upgrade themselves on that. I hope I've made.
Yeah. So Gunjan wants to know how we can enroll for the in-house test. So for the 1-year program, I think Gunjan, you first need to fill in an application and apply. I'm assuming you've done that. Once you've done that, then you can there's a link that you can give the exam. In case there is any difficulty, or I hope you've applied. So the first process is you need to fill in the application form and apply, and pay the 2,000 rupees fees and register. That's the first thing, and that's the subsequent process is how you will be able to fill give the test. In terms 23 months experience, Gaurav, you can apply. The 2 years experience has to be on the date the course begins, which is in May. So till May, you need to have 24 months of experience. If there is a gap of 15 days to a month, that is again on a case-to-case basis, depending on profile, that a call is taken. So what Soil sees in a finance guy, or what we expect from a
from a finance guy for MBA in finance.
Yeah. So
yeah, of course. I mean, you're talking to two finance people here. And what we can say is that certainly, finance track is very interesting. It has been changing over the years. Like I said, my background is investment banking. So in my time, it was more about, understanding the financial engineering part of it, and, providing financial solutions to companies through investment banking, fundraising, or fund investments, or whatever. And now, of course, things are moving more towards the fintech part, which Gurveer teaches, in soil. And so a lot of blend of technology and analytics is what we are seeing in finance coming up. And therefore, our curriculum has also been upgraded. And we have courses like financial analytics, we have kind of courses like fintech, those kind of courses also into the curriculum. Going forward, we are planning to bring in some new age courses also into the curriculum, because again, we are seeing the world changing very fast around us. You see all the startups and the unicorns. India is fast coming up as the unicorn capital of the world. So, I mean, they look at finance very differently. They look at fundraising and fund management very differently. I'm sure you all see Shark Tank, the Indian version, which has just come up, and how now all this is being looked at. So that is something we want to bring into our curriculum. The other part which is growing in finance is your sustainable finance. So how you can look at finance in the context of ESG goals, and how you're looking at that part for sustainability. So probably, we'll bring in some of those streams also, but yes, career choices are wide. We get plenty of roles in finance from companies, and I think most of the finance students have already been placed at a good average.
So there are quite a few questions on what is the soil admission process when I was just scanning. So I think we'll I'll just go through it again, because it will address quite a few of the questions that have been asked. So the selection process, obviously, like I said, there's an application form. You fill the application form and you pay the application fee and apply. Then you give a STAT exam, which is the soil in-house test that you give. Once you've done that, after that, then you come to the business simulation round, which is where we conduct a business simulation, where there is a group simulation, which is a real life situation that you would encounter in corporate India. And finally, we have the personal interviews. Now, many of you have asked, how do we prepare for the personal interviews? I said, there's nothing to prepare. You need to understand two things. One is, what is your CV and your academic background. You need to be very clear about yourself first, Second, we talk, like I said, I gave you about five C's. I said confidence, your clarity on what you want to do, and your clarity of thought. Third is your communication skills. Fourth is your competence. And your fifth is your commitment. So this is what we look at in general through the personal interview process. So I think this should answer quite a few of these things, questions. Do supply chain or operational companies visit for placement if we choose analyst course in Pgpm? This is one of the questions. So I'll very interesting to tell you.
I think what he means is analytics. Right?
Yeah, in analytics.
He means analytics. Yes.
So let me tell you, Accenture this year came for varied profiles for supply chain management. They wanted people, for supply chain management consultancy, and they came for people with 4 years and above work ex. They were being offered a team leader role, which means you would have managed a team had you been with 4 years and above. And below 4 years, they came with a systems engineer profile, consultant or a senior consultant profile. So yes, we do get supply chain roles, operation roles, depending on how the company requirements are.
Yes, analytics actually is a domain agnostic area. Yeah. So it is, when I say domain agnostic, what I mean is that it's not like you're a marketing person or a finance person or HR. So analytics is across all these. So you get prepared for everything, whether it is HR analytics or finance analytics or operations analytics, marketing analytics. And therefore the canvas is large. You can shift to any role from there.
So Aditya Bhattacharya has said that he did his MBA in marketing in 2016, and he wants to, I think, do a Pgpm in HR. So he wants to know. So Aditya, everyone has a fair chance. So we don't discriminate on any previous profile or anything. Like you said, he said he's got a 61% in ZAT. He did his MBA in 2016 and 5 years of experience. do I have a fair chance of converting Pgpm HR? Like I said, you go through the process. If you clear the process, there's no reason why you should not, be given the opportunity to study at soil.
Right, right. Of course, before you take up a call on that, because you have 5 years of work experience, you may want to talk to to the faculty and the mentors and our career team to understand what are your prospects for placements and whether your past experience will align your future goals or not. So that is the only thing that we would advise you. And then, of course, I think people are talking about course fees, admission process. I think process Gurveer has just explained to you. They're broadly just 3 steps. There is an application that you have to fill in, 2,000 rupees. Once you do that, there is a STAT, that is soil talent appreciation test that you have to take, the psychometric tool that I talked about, that is STAT. And third is you come on the interview date for the simulation and a brief interview. So those are the three steps. Once you have made the offer, you have about 10 days to pay and enroll yourselves. The fees is approximately 15 lakhs for business leadership and about 13 lakhs for the HR program. Business leadership gives you a wide range of options of electives of marketing, finance, HR, and digital also is there within that. So that is why the fees is slightly higher there, because the cost of the program is higher. But of course, it gives you wider options on the career front. And within the 1-year programs in the country, we can easily say with confidence that we are the lowest priced program. So for a 1-year 1 year anyway has an advantage over a 2-year program, because you start working 1 year earlier and you start earning that 1 year that your 1 year salary much earlier. So suppose you the average CTC on the program is 10 lakhs and the cost of the program is 15 lakhs. So because you earn that 10 lakhs for 1 extra year as against a 2-year program, your net cost of the program is only 5 lakhs, 15 minus 10 lakhs, right? So 1 year will have that advantage over a 2-year program. And therefore, it is also what we look at students. I would say, one, your past background, how well you've done in your academics and your professional area, because that is something that the recruiters also look at the time of placements. And secondly, your attitude, whether you have the drive to learn, whether you will be able to put in the hard work, because a 1-year program is a very fast-paced program. You can imagine, we are trying to fit in the curriculum of a 2-year program into a 1 year. We are trying to give you the same learning experience of a 2-year program, but because you're people with prior work experience, you can take that pace, you can take that speed and that rigor, provided you have that zest and that drive. So we are looking for that drive in you and that hunger in you, that you will be able to put in that effort. You will not be laid back and just sleep off during the program, because what really matters is for you to keep pace with the curriculum. So
Okay,
that is one, yeah.
So there are 2 types of other questions. The first is, so basically the 1-year program is for experienced people. Yes. So the Pgpm business leadership, that is marketing, analytics, and finance, you need 2 years of experience on the day that you're beginning the course. The Pgpm HR, we prefer 2 years of experience, but if you have an exceptional profile for HR, we have looked at people with less than 2 years experience also in exceptional cases. Okay. Now, the other questions we have a lot are on what are the average salaries. So, okay, now for the 1-year program, our average salary currently is about 12.5 lakhs. That is the placement salary that we are looking at currently, is what we have for the 1-year program. Okay. Now, with relation to the okay,
there are some questions, Gurveer, on also people are talking about, is apprenticeship considered as work X or family business be included in work X? Yes. Again, on a case-to-case basis, we can look at that. See, ultimately, if you are able to produce an experience certificate and some, salary or some remuneration against that, and then it can be looked at. Because when you go for placements after the program, the recruiting companies will also ask for that documentary proof from you. right? So otherwise it will not be considered as a part of your experience and you will not be given the advantage of that experience. So from that purpose, your documentation must be complete. But we can look at it on a case-to-case basis.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Many other questions. Basically, this is a one-year program only for, yes, mandatory.
Yes,
That is
I
true.
think
What's
I've
the
answered.
median package offered in 1 year?
I think it would be about, so average is about 12 and a half. I think median would be
median would also be around similar, I would
similar. Yeah,
say,
so it would be roughly
slightly
in the range
higher.
of 11 to 12 is what the median would be. Between 11
Yeah.
and 12 is where the maximum offers have come into, you know.
Yeah, the maximum would have been around that. So at the end of the academic degree, one looks forward to a placement offer, what has been the percentage of placement, and does PSUs partake in it. So as we just explained, that every year placement is 100%, everybody gets placed through soil, and the package is on an average double what you were drawing before you joined soil. So suppose you were earlier joining 4 lakhs, you can expect at least 8 lakhs, in most cases. So I'm saying this is an average, right? So when I say an average, it can be much higher, it can be a little lower depending on your profile. So the highest package which has gone this in most years is about 16 and a half lakhs also. People have gotten 4 times, even 5 times their previous drawn CPC. Number of students who have done that. It totally depends on your caliber and how much effort you put into the program, because the ecosystem is same for everybody. It's the same courses, same faculty, same mentoring that we give, same student development. But some students are very charged up and therefore they're able to derive more from the program. So, but on an average, everybody gets at least 2 to 3 times their previously drawn CTCs.
So very interesting question from Akesh James. He says, is age a factor? Does it play spoil sport for selection that is 35 years of age with 10 plus years of experience? So James, I think what is important here is what is the experience you have and what is it that you are looking at? What is the domain that you're looking at? Where have you earlier worked? What is it you want to do now? So I think maybe if you can offline touch base with our CMS team, they can maybe guide you better, because you can, depending on your current work ex and what is the type of roles you've done and what are the type of roles or ambitions that you want to do in the future, So I think maybe if you can touch base with our CMS team, maybe we can help out you there.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Gurveer, also we have had people with high number of work experience in the past. Also, every year we get at least about 3 or 4 people with around 10 or more years of experience. Again, like I said, it depends on you as a person. What is the attitude that you're carrying? Are you coming here to learn? And then placement, of course, is a consequence of that, because learning has no age, so you can learn at any age. But only thing you have to remember is that there are 2 kinds of campus placement that happen. One is on the campus, which is a bulk hire when companies come on the campus and recruit for a general kind of a role or a general role. The second is the lateral hire, which is based on specific profiles, specific roles, and because they want immediate joining, so then that process starts around February, March. So people with higher work experience have sometimes got to have a little bit more patience, because the process starts a little later after the campus placements are done. But I know of many students with more years of experience and doing extremely well in the industry. So again, age no bar there.
So Yash is here. He's asked, I'm working in the manufacturing sector. So what job roles are offered after Pgpm in this field? And for what course should I choose where I get a chance to use my experience? Yash, we have a lot of candidates, even in the current batch, who have come from manufacturing, specifically, a lot of them have worked in the power sector, power plants, in heavy machinery. They come. So they have worked, so many of them, because they are in the manufacturing, they have maybe like you, I don't know, they have an engineering background. So those who have an engineering background have an affinity for analytics, but some of them want to go into marketing. So we do have people from manufacturing. There is no bar on that. And like I said, that they do have opportunities, because of, like I said, what Dr. Nitika said, analytics is profile agnostic. It's nothing to do with your profile. It's more with your skill set as a person. So there is no bar on that, and you will get a chance to use your experience here as and when you study, if you do.
There are a couple of other questions also, Gurveer, on analytics. They're saying, is it good for non-IT background? Does the Soil College have analytics program? If yes, how could you please throw light on the admission process and kind of students you're looking for and the opportunities that you get? Yes, I think, see, analytics and digital definitely are two areas which are very, very promising for the future. We recognized that about 4 years back when we, started the analytics track in soil. And we've realized that over time, this has gained a lot of prominence in business, in corporates. And, the placements, I think analytics is the first ones to get placed every year because of the high need for that skill set from the industry. And like I said, it is, you can, from there, you can move to marketing or HR or finance or anywhere. And therefore, the kind of opportunities are also large in number. What we are trying to do in analytics is we are trying to cover everything from data mining and your predictive analytics, which are the base courses. Of course, before that, you have statistics and business research methods and quantitative techniques. We then talk about data mining and predictive, and then we move on to big data analytics. We move on to financial analytics, HR analytics, the domain wise. And now we are also talking about digital analytics, so which is a cross between digital and analytics by itself, where we cover NLP also, which is again coming up in a big way. We have then the tools on analytics like Python, R, Excel. So those are the tools which are taught under that. And if it is data visualization, it used to be Tableau earlier. Now we have moved on to Power BI because that is what is gaining acceptance in the industry. The second track about digital, which is closely related to analytics with AI, ML, and the other technologies that are coming up. We have digital transformation course, as well as another course which is talking about business, digital techniques. So, and of course, a lot of workshops and a lot of industry sessions when people come in and talk about what is happening in the field. So we cover end to end a good range of analytics courses and tools, both the things, so that the students are well equipped for all kind of data science and analytics related roles. And that has served very well. There is no requirement as such, but yes, you must have a little bit of a mindset to understand analytics and appreciate that science and have interest in that area. So it should not be that that you just don't like numbers or you don't like analytics at all. So you will get enough chance when you join soil for the first 1 month, 2 months. You're allowed to experiment all the areas, talk to the faculty, understand, and then make a choice. So there is no hurry on that. Once you've understood and experienced a little bit of that area, then even the faculty and the program chair can decide for you whether you would be the right fit or you'll have the right career after doing analytics. Right?
So Gaurav, yes, with 23 years of experience, 23 months of experience, you can apply for the HR, no issues. Chetna, for the HR program, we don't. If you have a good profile, we don't insist on experience. But if you're looking for marketing, analytics, or finance, yes, you do need experience.
There is one this thing. I like your blunt questions. Enough. Sorry for asking such blunt question, but what is the difference studying from upgrad and soil? I think it is a similar question that we talked about with the skill set and education. So education is much wider, much holistic, more holistic than acquiring a skill set or doing a one-off course from online modes. So, and let me go one step forward from here and explain to you how an online course is different from a real interactive course that we do in soil. So MBA is all about networking. It's all about learning from each other, learning from people around you, doing things. So you can do a course from any of the online courses. There's plenty of knowledge going around the world. There's no doubt on that. Do you know how to apply that knowledge? How will you learn that? Unless you have group discussions, unless you talk to your peers, you get into these activities that we do in soil, role plays and case studies and simulations that we do here. Or, how will you learn teamwork, which is a very important skill set that industry wants? How will you learn the soft skills of, dealing with people, understanding situations, reacting to them, the compassion and the empathy bit, which comes from the social innovation program that we do here? Or how will you learn to kind of gain that confidence? So one big outcome that I see in this program year after year is that people who come from average backgrounds gain a lot of confidence by the end of the program to talk, and deal with people. And how does that confidence come about? Because they take up leadership activities. There are student clubs, there are student committees, so which are doing a lot of these events and activities, which throws challenges to you to take up a leadership role and perform. And or in the morning circle, stand up and speak, so sharpen your communication levels, sharpen your ability to talk to senior leaders and have a in-depth discussion with them, the ability to network and drive a team. So how does that doing part come from an online course? So it cannot come from just listening. There are many things which you have to do to be able to learn and acquire, and that's where the difference comes, is what I feel. Especially in soil, where there is a very close mentoring from faculty, one-on-one. So students get into a lot of these discussion forums with faculty, with other people around, with their mentors, with industry people, and that is how they develop themselves, right?
A
So
very
that
interesting
is
question here from Sarath. Does the Soil College have a business analytics program? Yes, we do. If yes, could you throw some light on the admission procedure?
I think this is
And
what
what
I answered, Guri. This is when I
Ah,
was talking about analytics.
sure.
This is what I
Okay, fair enough. So this is done. There are a lot
Any
of questions.
scholarships? I think somebody's asking about scholarships. That's a
Scholarships.
relevant one. Scholarships, yes, we have many categories. Sai Vishal that is asking that. We have about 6 to 7 categories. One is merit based, which is purely based on your, so it's a very objective process. You will have criteria and there are weights in that, scores in that. If you fit in, you have a score, you're given, otherwise not, right? So yeah, it's a merit based, your outstanding, exceptional academic record. There is a merit, there's a need based scholarship if your family income is less than 5 lakhs and you have to produce documentary proof for that. Then there's a Vikram Batra scholarship if you have a defense background, Army, Navy, Air Force, anything. Then again, you qualify for that. There is a women's leadership category, that if you're an outstanding, woman achiever, because we want to promote diversity. So we offer that. So each of these categories is based on something that we believe in our value system. For example, we respect the defense forces quite a lot because they are the ones who really, work for our country. And therefore, to honor that, we have a scholarship in that category. We respect diversity. So, women are given special preference. And likewise, we have 5 or 6 category. You can go to our website also, and you can check on that, exactly what is the criteria and what are the eligibility norms there. Right. Okay, so you're talking about, some people are talking about Pgbm, which is a 2-year program. The 2-year program is AICT approved, and therefore there are some norms they have to follow as per the AICT. There's an entrance exam there, but because philosophy is that of soil, which is same, and therefore we also look at personality assessment there. There's an interview process even there that we look at. Are you talking about experience? Person with no work experience can apply? I think we just answered that, saying that, in HR, we may look at some exceptional freshers, but in DLP, we do require a minimum of 2 years.
What is the package offered for the analytics profiles?
Package is again, similar to other streams. On an average, like we said, it's about 12 lakhs, 11 and a half to 12 lakhs as of date by the end of the year. So right now about we have about 52 students who have been placed out of 84, so another 30 to go. So we are almost there with the pipeline. So by the end of this year, the hiring market has been very, very strong. We are seeing good roles coming in. So by the end of the year, we'll see what exactly the package comes in. But as of now, like we said, it's about 11 and a half lakhs. Okay, so you're also saying, how can we connect your team to discuss about admission?
I think Sulai has just mentioned in the chat on those details.
Okay, so the details are mentioned. You can contact the admission team, and the number and the other email IDs are given to you. Somebody is asking, is there a preference for ex-servicemen retired from army after short service commission? Have you had? Yes, we've had students in the past, like I said, and we really honor them well. We look at them with a lot of respect, and therefore, yes, there is a preference as well as a scholarship for people from that background.
So there's companies visiting for Pgdm HR. I mean, I think for Pgpm HR, I think we can talk about, we have a lot of companies like Mahindra, we had Kotak this year, we've got ABC Consultants, and I think we've just got Michael Page coming in. So we have a diverse set of companies. I think Schneider came for Plant HR, Aditya Birla. So we have a lot of companies across domains that come for the Pgpm HR for the 1-year program. I don't know if Mahin was asking about that for the 1-year program, but these are the companies that come.
Yeah, and mostly companies, the similar companies would come for the 2-year also.
Okay.
The roles,
So yeah. So I think there are a lot of questions. So Pragati, just to tell you, for Pgdm, we have similar companies like. So which cohort are you interested in PG? In Pgdm. So if you look at the level of companies that come are very similar. But the type of profiles, Pragati. So we had all sort of companies. We had Axis Bank. We are coming for compliance and SME, HDFC Bank coming for SME. We had ICICI Bank coming for transaction banking group, and for SME, we had a Tres Vista company, which is a KPO coming for finance, which was for a KPO role in finance. Genpact came for an insurance-based role for finance. So we have had a lot of these companies coming across both campuses.
And we had a lot of IT companies this time also,
which came like
Newgen, Accenture, HCL, Infosys.
Deloitte came for a financial risk advisory role. That was again a finance role. So Pragati, we're getting a lot of companies for finance across both campuses.
So I think Uma Shankar is asking a different question here. He says, as in COVID situation, classes and sessions are online or offline mode. So Uma Shankar, I think we have been also trying to adapt to the situation. We've been conducting classes both online as well as physical and in hybrid mode. I think the third wave just started about weeks back when we had to switch back to virtual, and before that we were operating in a hybrid mode. Nearly 50% of the students were coming on campus, attending classes from here. Even today, they're free to come to the campus and attend classes, but then we would be conducting them in the virtual mode. Once this passes, we'll switch back to our hybrid mode and have classes right from the campus. So that is what we are doing. Our classrooms are well equipped with the cameras and the sound system, etc. So those who want to come here and do it are doing that. But those who want to attend virtually are also welcome to do that. Companies are not making any distinction whether you are in a hybrid mode, physical or virtual. Ultimately, it is about your learning, how you have picked that up.
So our company is not coming for Pgdm HR. So a lot of questions on Pgdm HR, it seems,
Yeah, and then I think that we can take separately. Right now, we are just focusing on the 1-year program. I'm sure we'll have a separate webinar for the 2-year program also, where we can answer some more specific questions there. Somebody is asking, in 1 year Pgpm, up to which month we are placed? Yash is asking. So it depends, Yash. So I mean, the hiring season starts from October. So there were many students who got placed in October. So you join in about mid of May, and October the company start coming, and so there are many students who got placed in October, some got placed in November, December. The process is going on. So like I said, by now we have placed almost 60 to 70%. So the remaining would of course get placed in the next 2 or 3 months.
So Rasna is asking, sir, do companies come for management consultant roles? Yes, they do come. PwC, we had a recruitment last year for management consultancy. This year we've had Accenture, Deloitte coming in. So yes, companies do come in for the management consultant roles also.
Right. And now Rajarshi Das, she is asking, how is Pgpm different from Pgbm in terms of the degree that we will be getting? I think I'd explained a little bit about 1 and 2 year earlier, but I can highlight that better now. To say that Pgdm, because it is AICT approved, the 2-year program, and the degree that you get, again, like the name goes, it's a postgraduate diploma in management. So all the 2-year campuses give that. And Pgpm is a program, and you get a certificate for the 1-year completion. In Pgpm, you take people with prior work experience, but in Pgdm, there is no such binding. You can take freshers also. Pgpm, because it's a 1-year program, we insist on work experience because it's going to be a fast-paced program. So you need to have a certain level of maturity and experience to be able to pick up in all the threads of the learning within 1 year. And of course, then the advantage, like I said, is that you start working also 1 year earlier and save that cost, that extra salary that you get for 1 year. So if you have a prior work experience, it makes sense, and you're eligible for a Pgpm, it probably makes sense to do that program, unless of course you want to have learning at a slightly more leisurely pace, like in a 2-year program with its internship and with its AICT accreditation that it carries.
Just a small note, I'll say, the 2-year program, which is Pgdm, also has specializations in finance, marketing, and HR and analytics. So the specializations are there. I think it's just that since you're focusing on the 1 year this time, maybe, but yes, a lot of questions. So I think, yes, it does have a specialization. They have a finance specialization, marketing, analytics, and HR specializations. They do have, and companies come for each of these roles individually. You can, so that is there.
So I think this is also an opportunity for many students to change their, tracks. So we notice that people who have so far been into technical roles or into different kind of roles and now want to switch their careers and move to, let's say, a marketing kind of a role or a different kind of role. So the MBA here gives you an opportunity to change your track also. So I think many people look at that through this 1-year program. And of course, like I said, analytics and digital, which is the key skill sets of the future, is something that you start, acquiring here.
I think Rajshri has asked, since we won't be getting a degree in the 1-year course, will that affect us later on in our careers?
So, see, degree you don't get anywhere for a 2-year program also. Even if it is AICT approved, you don't get a degree. Degree comes only when you are affiliated to a university and you're doing a master's program. Right, so that is where so you have your institute has to be associated with a proper university to be able to give you a degree. Most MBA institutes give only a diploma, and whether it's a diploma or a certificate does not really make too much of a difference, because industry looks at the skill set that you have brought to the table, what is your background, how much you have learned, and once you are you're placed in a company, then further career growth happens based on what you have learned on your previous jobs and how well you performed there. So we have an alumni of almost 1,500 people by now for the last 14-15 years, and they're doing extremely well in the industry everywhere. We haven't really heard of this concern from any one of them, say that they're facing a problem in their career because of a degree or a diploma or a certificate. So I think once you're in the field, this doesn't really matter.
So Pragati saying, please conduct a separate session for Pgdm. Definitely, Pragati, we would do it. So there's a very interesting question by Rasna. Can a student who has opted for Pgpm business development course sit for an HR interview. See, normally a company will not shortlist you. Most companies want people from a specific cohort, so a marketing company would want someone who's doing a marketing MBA. So I, at least in my career, I've never seen someone going for this thing and sitting. But if the company is open to it, I don't think, sometimes they do look for, maybe they would want, a cross-functional skill, something like an HR analytics, Now that has HR and analytics. So you could be an analytics guy with a background in HR, or an HR guy with a background in analytics. Maybe it is possible. So I don't think, from our side, I don't think there is a restriction. It's all up to the company, I believe, Dr. Nitika. What do they want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are not decided which way you want to go, whether HR or marketing or business development, then it's safer for you to take analytics, because that would open, like I said, all kind of possibilities for you. And secondly, we also have electives, system here where you can choose. So it is possible you can combine a few courses of marketing with a few courses of analytics or of finance, and then make your skill set wider for more options, so then you are fit for a different kind of role. So that also you can do within the business leadership program.
Great. I think we are almost done. There don't seem to be many more questions.
I hope so. There were plenty of them. It was
I
great
think
to
it's
kind of
very
meet you
interesting.
all.
Ma'am, do we get project management certification during this 1 year? We get a
project management certification is something that we encourage you to take up. We do a project management course, and we encourage all the students to take up the certification, because that requires your taking an exam by Project Management Institute, PMI, and clearing that exam and getting the certification. What we do from our side to help you do that is we run the course based on BABOK, that body of knowledge of the project management. So the course which is prescribed by PMI is what we run during the course here in SOIL, which prepares you. And number two, we also give you a certificate for 30 PDUs, which is what is required by PMI to take the exam. So you save on that cost of extra, acquiring 30 PDUs. So you have the eligibility. It is now totally up to you to take that simple exam and then take the certification, which definitely adds value to your resume for sure.
I would just request the moderators, if you could just again copy paste the contact details, because I'm sure in the list of questions, it may have happened that students might have missed. So if you could just copy paste the contact details, if anyone wants to contact us, can do so at these numbers. Yeah, so these are the numbers that you'd see in the chat box. We would love to engage with you, interact with you, know more about you, or any queries that you have, So if there are any last thoughts, anyone, last questions, or anyone who has
any last comments or any last feedback, anything else that you would like to know more about, if you want to put that in the chat box, please do that, or you can just mail it to us. There's an admission email ID also, I'm sure. If you can put the admission, it's admissions@soilindia.net, I think. If the host can please put the admission email ID also, so that if somebody wants to mail to us, they can do that.
So it's admissions@soilindia.edu. This is the email ID you can mail. And on 20th Jan, we have the Pgdm, that's day after tomorrow, the Pgdm webinar. So I think our moderators have heard you, and we'll have it there.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you so much. It was wonderful meeting all of you and interacting. Lots of questions, lots of queries.
Thank you so much. It was great fun, and it was a good interactive session. Thank you. And
welcome to contact us at any point of time. Should you want to chat with any of our careers team, or with any of the faculty members, program chairs, or even with Gurveer or me, we are always open to talking to you. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.